Here we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. So, tonight we are going to have a conversation about the confusion about paying it forward. Now, I want to ask you, what is the thing that comes up for you? And pay attention to this because this is what we do as humans. We make meaning of all kinds of things. And sometimes we make meanings of things that are not accurate or, create breakdowns in what's really going to take place. So I just want you to take a moment and think about how is there confusion about paying it forward? And just think about that for a minute. Because I guarantee you, by the end of this conversation, it's going to have a completely new meaning for you. Because a lot of people, and this is what I spend a lot of my time working with, like, I work with 7, 8, 9 figure entrepreneurs, and and me included has been part of my journey is really understanding what this whole thing about purpose is. And a lot of people want to have a finite definition of what that means. And see, mastery is not about having finite definitions. It's not about labels. It's about having agility. It's about having adaptability and being able to step into higher resourcefulness within yourself in any given moment, like learning how to literally be present in a way that gives you the opportunity to step into and be present where you're at. In fact, tonight I'm teaching another class in my mastering potential, and I'm really, really excited about it because we're going to be talking about some stuff that's pretty cool. So, what is the confusion about paying it forward? Well, for a lot of people, this may or may not be you, or you may or may not know somebody that's like this, but a lot of people give and give and give and give. And the issue with that is that they end up putting themselves into a very unresourceful state because all they do is give. And the other part is that they really don't understand how every nanosecond of your life is making an impact in somebody else's life. And so, one of the things I would like for you to consider as a new possibility is what if life happens through you? What I mean by that is life doesn't happen for you, life doesn't happen to you, life happens through you. And that means that you are creating life every nanosecond of your life. And so when you're walking down the street and you meet somebody, how do you pay it forward? What do you want to do with that person? How do you want to make an impact to that person? How do you want the world to experience being in your presence? How do you want the world to experience that? Because however you decide to make that be and commit to that, then that's what you're going to create. So, like, what is your contract? Like, what is the contract? What is your declaration that you say to yourself every single day? And being able to have that so that you can go into it when you have somebody show up in a way that creates it's one of those moments where we get to extend more grace or we get to experience something deeper within ourselves because there's it's like I always say every single person you meet introduces you to a new part of who you are. Every single person you meet introduces you to a new part of who you are, right? Because it's going to bring out something different. And every single person on this world planet ever has been, is, or ever will be is in a unique expression, unlike any other person that's ever been on this planet before. So every single time that you have a new interaction with somebody, and we are so dynamic, right? Like, yeah, that that's a conversation that I would love to have with you at some point because you are constantly generating energy, constantly generating energy. So, like, think about your body. When you rest, you are in a certain state. You wake up in the morning, you are in a certain state. You are regenerated. You have certain amount of energy in the morning, and as you go throughout the day, depending on how you manage your energy, you start having different states throughout that day. Now, the more intentional you get about this, the more you can stay aligned and congruent with what it is that you want to create, right? But by the end of the day, you've burned up a lot of energy. You have had certain amount of experiences and stuff like that. So every moment of the day, you are literally can be a different person, right? Now, if you're looking at look, I mean, you have billions of cells dying every day. Thank goodness you have billions of cells being born every day. So you are in constant state of flux. You are in a constant state of regeneration, right? Like every single day. So every single day you are becoming and evolving and becoming something new every moment of every day. So you being understanding the dynamics of that is what you get to pay it forward to somebody else. Because okay, just to give you a case in point, I had somebody text me. They thought, I don't remember who it was. They thought my name was Jess or something like that. I don't remember what the name was. But I said, hey, my name is Jeff. This isn't who it is. And I said, blessings. And they're like, wow, thank you for being so nice. And we ended up having a conversation and getting to know one another. Right. But see, what most people do is because of how they talk to themselves about making mistakes, they end up projecting that onto somebody else. So, what if we all took a moment and really said, do I want to take from this world, or do I want to make somebody's life a better experience because they've had an opportunity to engage with me? Right? Like what if every single person you smiled at them? What if you started doing things that nobody knew that you were doing? Like putting a toilet seat down. Okay, guys. Okay. Putting the lid down as well. That's the proper way for a toilet. Let's just get this real clear right out in the open. Okay. The toilet seat and the toilet lid down. Okay. That's the rule, right? Like looking inside of a toilet is not a very appealing thing, right? So the lid goes down too. So let's make like wiping up a sink after you're done with it, like making it a better experience for the next person that comes in there. And you don't need to let anybody know it. So when I first started down this world of transformation, I had somebody tell me, do two things every single day that makes a difference in somebody's life and nobody knows about it. Because this is how we build self-confidence, is because we know we are making a difference in the world and nobody's going to give us accolades for it, or we're not going to get recognition for it. Right. So what can you do? Like, and the other part is understanding, like, you carry amazing, amazing gifts to this world, whether you want to recognize it or not. Actually, some people think that it's being humble not to recognize your gifts. And that's actually false humility. That's your pride. That's your ego that's saying that, because true humility is you celebrating your value, right? And understanding that you are a unique expression of divine on this planet that gets to live, divine gets to live through you, unlike any person ever has, ever is, or ever will be. So the more you embrace that, the more you understand that you are here to do amazing things in this life. Now, it doesn't have to be numbers. It doesn't have to be proximity, right? Different people choose different things, right? But it's being able to be, not do, not exist, but to be. You are a human being, not a human doing. Okay. So, how can you pay it forward? Right. And so, if you just imagine that you are this amazing person and you were, well, think about it this way. Think about, so if you have children, right? I want you to think about when your child was first born, or if you have a pet, right? If you don't have children, think about on a scale of 100, you look down at that child when it was born, and you had to declare what the worth of that child was based on 0 to 100. What worth would you give that child? Of course, everybody would say 100, whether you have children or not, right? We'd all say 100. But see, for whatever reason, we end up having experiences that we create a certain narrative around, which ends up creating certain beliefs about our own identity, right? Like think about belief, right? B again. So we create these certain beliefs, and then these beliefs become our identities, which are not based on who we really are. Who we really are is what we came into this earth, and somebody looked at us and went, wow, you're freaking amazing. Right. And then we had all kinds of people cheering us on and doing amazing things when we're walking and having all these great things happen. But then we started to develop and started having experiences. And then we didn't learn how to let these experiences go. We didn't learn how to change the story. Right. But today, as an adult, you have the opportunity to literally change your past. You have the ability to change your past. right? And so this is one of the missions that I have in this life is learning how to create potentializers, right? A potentializer is someone that actualizes possibility and steps into their greatest superhuman ability, clarifies what it is that they want to do, and executes the strategies to make it a reality. That's what I create today. That's what my mission is. And it's been a reflection of what I've done in my own life. Um, I turn my pain into purpose. So, what can you do in this world? See, the things that you have gone through, and see, yeah, that's a whole other story in itself. So, when I was in college, I got a bachelor in fine arts. Okay. And if you've taken any of my trainings or my courses, you understand that my drawing is not my strong suit anymore. It used to be pretty decent once upon a time, but it's not my jam anymore. Um, and but I had to take the ceramics class. Okay. And the ceramics class, this teacher told me, she said, Jeff, I want you to fold and knead the clay for X amount of time. And explain why I was doing that. But back then, well, it's still not one of my great attributes. It's one of my areas that I get to grow in, and that's being patient, right? Is that I wanted to start creating. I wanted to start molding what it is that I was going to create and make a bowl. I don't remember what it was I was making. And then we had to do the bisque and the green and all the different phases that the clay goes through before you fire it. And I come back to class. That was on a Thursday. Came back to class on a Tuesday. She fired him, and she came up to me and she pointed her finger and she notioned me to come here. And I walked up to her and she said, "I want to show you something." And she opened up the kiln, and the kiln was full of clay shards, like full of clay shards. And I'm like, whoa, what happened here? And she's like, well, did you fold and knead the clay as much as I asked you to do? And I said, well, maybe not. She goes, did you hear why I said for you to do it as I instructed you? And I said, well, I might have missed that part, not paid that much attention to it. She goes, well, the reason you did it was to knead out all of the air pockets in the clay. And apparently you didn't, because I can tell right where what blew up in this kiln was your project first, and then it took out everybody else's project. See, the reason you need the clay is to get the air pockets out. Because when the air pockets are under fire, they expand and then they exceed the threshold of the clay. And it explodes. It literally becomes a bomb. And not only does it explode, but it blows up everything else on that level. So, looking at the different things in your life that you have overcome literally get to be what you get to teach so that somebody else doesn't blow up and take out their environment, right? Like, I've overcome lots of different addictions. I've overcome lots of different businesses and moved through them, like being taken out. Bipolar, I was bipolar for a long time. Like bankruptcy, like divorce, like lots and lots and lots of things that have happened in my life have become what it is that I teach others, because our greatest lesson are the things that we don't want people to do, right? Like, that's a mentor. Now, there's a lot of coaches out there that are coaching, and coaching is much different than mentoring. Mentoring is being a guide to be able to guide somebody down a path that they want to go, that you've gone down before them, right? Certification doesn't give you that, right? Mentoring and living and coming from experience does, right? So nobody can take away your experience. Nobody's opinion is going to impact your experience. So this is what you get to pay forward. Like, what have you invested every single moment of your life into? What have you invested every nanosecond of your life into? Your story, your life, your experience. This is your greatest asset, my friend. And so this is your opportunity to pay it forward with other people. But see, most people don't value what they've been through, because they have their own narrative that they gave it, their own meaning that they attach to the experience. Most people, including me, this is part of my journey as well, wish that certain things hadn't happened in their life, but they don't understand that those things that happen in their life that they don't wish they hadn't happened gets to be somebody else's hope in their darkness. Right? And you learning how to transfer and transform and alchemize that story is your greatest opportunity, right? What if you get to be the person, like we've all had opportunities in our lives to reframe and go back and look at some of the events and look at what beliefs we created out of those experiences, right? Like I've been molested, I've been beaten, I've been abandoned, I've been like all kinds of stuff, crazy stuff, right? And today I have compassion for that little boy that went through all those experiences, right? I don't hate that little boy anymore. I used to hate that boy because that was a part of me that was in so much pain. Today I have incredible compassion for him, and I understand that he's a badass. Like he is my superhero because he's made it through some things that like I should not be here. Like by divine orchestration, I should not be here. I did not want to live to be 25 years of age, and I had to literally have my greatest failure, which is almost killing myself, which wasn't the big part. It was me almost killing my sister. That's what it took for me to get my attention, right? And see, when we're in crisis is when we start really recognizing what is it that we really value. What if you just really valued every single moment of your life and stop characterizing it, stop comparing it? This is what you get to pay forward, right? But see, our ego loves to categorize things. It loves to say that things shouldn't be the way that they are. And how we characterize an experience, we get subject to it. We get attached to that. And we don't understand our own power. And our own power is that we have the ability to be the narrator of every single thing that we've ever had in our lives. And then we get to teach other people how to do that. So what is it that you get to let go? What is it that you get to reframe? That's transformation, is you going and reframing and transforming the experiences that you've had in your life. That's true transformation, right? It doesn't mean being detached from it. It means going back and letting go and allowing the energy that you have behind those experiences, letting that energy go, right? Because otherwise it's trapped in our body. And this is what creates PTSD or bipolar, which is what I was, right? We've got to get it out of our nervous system, right? And there's lots and lots of ways we can do that, right? Which is why I've created the potential code and all the other products that I have, right? And you can find out more about that by going to the potentialzonegroup.com, and really understanding that you are a badass. You have superhuman abilities, right? Get my book. I got a great story in there by Laura Schultz, right? You have more capability in you than you ever realize when you understand what it is that you truly value. What do you really value in this life? What do you really value? Because if you're not at the top of that list and you don't, in your life experience and your narration of this thing called life isn't at the top of that list, then you've missed the point. You are the one that narrates your life. You're the one that narrates your life. And so every single experience you've had in your life, you are the one that gets to decide what that experience was, right? And if it hurt, okay, cool. Learn what from the pain, learn how to transform that, learn the lessons, right? Because the lessons will keep repeating, or you'll just shut it out of your life and say, I'm not ever going to do that again. And I'm going through a similar experience right now with me getting a car, right? Like I let go of a car that meant the world to me back when I was early 20s, and just really didn't give myself the opportunity to do it again. And I bought a car that I absolutely love now. And now I'm going through this whole transformational experience by allowing myself to do that, because now I look back and see why I did what I did with the car that I let go of in the beginning. See, when we understand it is fear that stops us. So when we can ask the question, what are we afraid of losing? What are we afraid of losing? Because really, fearlessness is letting go of the anticipation of fear. Fearlessness is letting go of the anticipation of fear. Now, I'm human. I still have fears in areas of my life, right? Like one of these days, I'm going to go diving with sharks. That's one of my bucket list things, right? To really allow myself to trust that, right? But I've got some things that I get to work through, right? We all have areas, but the more we can step into them and allow ourselves to move through that and let go of the energy that prevents us from living, whew, endless possibilities. So what do you want to leave this world with? My dad always used to tell me, when you borrow something, always return it better than what you got it. Always return it better than when you got it. right? And that's how I want to leave this planet. I want to leave this planet better and make an imprint on this planet better and do everything I can to do that than when I got here, right? And that's my mission. That's why potential is my jam, right? And that's why I'm obsessed with it and teaching people how to actualize what it is that they really want to create in their life, right? So again, get over to potentializergroup.com and find out more of how we're doing this. Also, check out my masteringpotential.com amazing workshop that I'm going to be teaching here real soon. These are different strategies that I show you how to do this. So I appreciate each and every one of you being here. Love each and every one of you. Pay it forward. You playing small is not helping anybody. It's not supporting anybody. You're denying somebody else the opportunity to have the experience with you. You are the only version of you there ever is, ever will be. Share it with this world. We would love to get to know you more and understand everything that you've gone through is your greatest asset. It's your greatest asset, right? So appreciate you being here, my friend. And as always, live like your life depends on it, because it does. Take care.